Good morning to all. This is our third session in this lesson, plant parts and functions. Yesterday class we discussed about transpiration and activity related to transpiration. Now what are the structures involved in the transpiration mechanisms and what are the structures involved in the exchange of gases, we have to know. Okay, then transpiration and gaseous exchange are related to these are the roles played by specialized structures present in the leaves of a plant called as stomata. Stomata are specialized structures present in leaves. Okay, in leaves, the bottom region of the leaf having more number of stomata, that means this is a leaf, the bottom region of the leaf having more number of stomata. Okay, more number of stomata. So what is stomata here? Stomata is a bean shaped structures guarded by a pore. That means stomata is this portion is called as stomata. Okay, this stomatal opening is guarded by bean shaped cells, or kidney shaped cells. These cells are called as guard cells. Is it clear, students? Do you following me? Okay, the opening of stomata is guarded by which type of cells? Guard cells is called guard cells. What is the shape of guard cell here? Bean shape or kidney shape? Bean shape or kidney shape. That is nothing but like this. This is kidney shape or bean shape. So in what process the opening and closing of stomata will guarded by guard cells? That means the guard cells, the excess water present in the surrounding plant cells, these are leaf cells. Okay, inside the leaf cells, guard cells are present. Okay, the plant body having excess water comes to guard cells first. These dots indicates water. Okay, the excess water present in the plant body first of all comes to guard cells. Okay, so guard cells involved in, if the water is more, the cell becomes swollen or the cell becomes turgid. Turgid means if a balloon having air inside it, the balloon become turgid or swollen. The air will lost out. Okay, then what will happen? the balloon becomes shrink. The balloon becomes shrink. Okay. At the same manner, here also God cells acts as balloons-like structures. Now, if the water is excess in amount in the plant body, the water comes to God cells. So, then after, due to the presence of water, the God cells become swollen. The God cells become swollen and becomes like a balloon. Then, the stomatal opening present between God cells, if the God cell becomes swollen, the stomatal opening is exposed to the atmosphere directly. Okay, this is the stomatal opening due to turgidity of the God cells. This is one God cell, this is one God cell. Due to swallowing of the God cells, the stomatal opening is exposed to the atmosphere. Now, the water present in the God cell is moved and escaped out into the atmosphere through the stomatal opening pore. The water present in the God cell escaped out, okay, from the plant body through the stomatal opening. This removal of water from the plant body is called as transpiration. Is it clear, students? Okay. Now, God cells are present like this. Okay, if water comes into God cells, the God cell becomes swollen. And leaving a pore or hole. From this hole, the water present in the God cell is moved towards the pore. From this pore, the water comes out into the atmosphere. Okay, this phenomenon happened like this. This is about transpiration. So, stomata is the opening through which transpiration will occur. Okay, then gaseous exchange. Okay, I said that plant body takes CO2 for photosynthesis and releases oxygen into the atmosphere. So, taking of CO2 and release of O2 takes place at same stomatal region, the region of stomata. Okay, plant body takes CO2 present in the atmosphere, and the plant body releases oxygen. This is atmosphere or environment. This is plant. Okay, the CO2 present in the atmosphere enters into plant body through which region? Stomatal region. Okay, from this stomatal region, CO2 again enters into God cells. From these God cells, CO2 enters into, okay, neighbor plant cell. From this, CO2 enters into all over the plant body. This is entry of CO2. Now, after completion of photosynthesis, what is the end product? That is glucose or starch. But at the end of photosynthesis, oxygen gas will release. This oxygen gas released in the plant body is escaped out from the plant body through which region? That is also stomatal opening. So, from this we concluded that stomatal opening is responsible for gaseous exchange, that means entry of CO2 into the plant body and exit of oxygen into atmosphere is carried out by stomatal opening, and transpiration, the excess water present in the plant body is released into the atmosphere through which region? Stomatal opening. This is about stomata. Then types of leaves. Types of leaves. Leaves having venation. Leaves having venation. What is meant by venation? Leaves having venation. Leaves having venation. What is meant by venation? The arrangement of the structural arrangement of veins. The structural arrangement of veins in the or on the surface of the leaf. On the surface of the leaf is called as venation. Okay, say what is the surface of the leaf? I already explained that. What is the surface of the leaf? Nothing but leaf lamina, the flat portion of the leaf. The surface of the leaf is called as leaf lamina. Leaf lamina. Okay. On the leaf lamina, the arrangement of veins is called as venation. I said that leaf lamina having central midrib. From the central midrib, so many branches are arraigers. Those branches are called as veins. So this arrangement is different from one plant to other plant. Okay. This arrangement is different from one plant to other plant. So based upon the arrangement, leaves are two types. That means the leaves having reticulate venation. And the leaves having, this is one type, and the second type is leaves having parallel venation. Okay. Say what is reticulate venation and what is parallel venation. Reticulate means web-like, network-like. Okay, the network is arranged in branches, continuous branches without any proper way. That is called as reticulate, web-like. Spider forms webs. Is it correct? So it doesn't have any similarity between one web of the spider and another web of the spider. So web is branches, having continuous branches without any proper arrangement. That web-like arrangement of veins, on the leaf lamina, the type of venation is called as reticulate venation. What is that? The web-like arrangement of veins on which region? Leaf lamina region. This type of venation is called as reticulate venation. Okay, then parallel venation. Parallel venation. Parallel means the lines arranged one after the other. The lines are quietly similar to each other. They can move in one direction only. They can move in one direction only. Those type of venation is called as parallel venation. That means straight veins present one side the other. Okay, this type of arrangement is called as parallel venation. Now I am drawing reticulate venation and parallel venation diagrams here. This is leaf lamina. This is leaf lamina. Okay, flat surface. This is midrib. From this midrib, branches will arise. From this midrib, branches will arise. Okay, from these branches, further branching is formed. This arrangement seems like a web-like arrangement. This arrangement seems like a web-like arrangement. So, this type of venation is called as, what is that? Say children. Okay, do you following my words? Okay, the web-like arrangement of these veins, this type of venation is called as reticulate venation. Reticulate venation, this web-like arrangement of veins. These are veins. The web-like arrangement of veins on the leaf lamina is called as reticulate venation. Then parallel venation. This is a leaf. Okay, this is a leaf. This is midrib. These are the veins. The veins having any branching. The veins doesn't having any branching. The veins doesn't have any branching here. The veins arranged side by side. So, the lines are parallel to each other. In your mathematics, you have parallel lines. Okay, parallel lines nothing but the lines present like this. Having this type of arrangement, this is called as parallel line. In this manner, the veins also arranged on the surface of leaf lamina. That's why this type of venation is called as parallel venation. Okay, which type of plants having reticulate venation and which type of plants having parallel venation? That means very simple. Reticulate venation having plants have taproot system. That means you should easily recognize that the taproot system having plants having must reticulate venation. That means hibiscus, okay, brinjal, okay, lady's finger and etc. plants near to your area. Okay, these are reticulate venation having leaves, and if you observe that which type of root system it is, it must having taproot system only. That means taproot system having plant must have Reticulate venation. Reticulate venation having leaf must have taproot system in its body. It is very easy. Then parallel venation having plant fibrous root system. Fibrous root system. Okay, in first class I explained that what is taproot system, what is fibrous root system. Okay, fibrous root system having plants in its leaves having which type of venation? Parallel venation. If you observe coconut plant, coconut leaf, the arrangement of veins present like this, small light veins. This is coconut leaf, I think. The veins are like this, very fine veins are appear arranged like this. Okay. Then coconut, wheat and grass, and the grass plant having leaves also must contain parallel venation. In your area so many grass plants are there. Okay. If you want to observe it, it must having parallel venation. It must having parallel venation. This is nothing but types of leaves and types of venations. Types of venations. Next. Next about stem. Next about stem. Stem. Stem is present above the soil. Is present above the soil. Do you agree that, children? Yes. Most of the plants having stem on above the soil, but some plants having stem below the soil also, students. It is very it is very important thing. Some plants present also below to the soil. Those types of stems are called as underground stems. Okay. Then what is the importance of stem? What is the importance of stem? Stem can form branches, flowers and also having fruits and buds also. These are the structures present on the stem. Next function of the stem is transport of water and food. Okay. Then transport of water and food in the stem. This is a stem. This is the soil. In the stem, inside the stem, there are two tissues are present. Tissue nothing but group of cells. Okay. There are some tissues are present to transport water and food from one place to other. What is meant by transport? If you want to go Bhimavaram or any other places, you have to take transport from bus or vehicle, any other vehicle. You transport to area which you want. Okay. In the same manner, the water absorbed through the root system is entered into the stem. From the stem, the water is transported through branches to branches and leaves and then flowers, okay, etc. parts. So, for water transporting, the plant body having a special tissue called as xylem. It is very important, students. Okay, it is not there in your textbook, but you should remember it. Okay, the transport of water in the plant body is carried out by which tissue? Which tissue? This is the tissue is called as xylem. Xylem. Okay. Next, transport of food in the plant body. Okay, in the plant body is carried out by which type of tissue? That is phloem. Okay, these are the specialized tissues present in the stem. Okay, say one thing, water is coming from the root. From this root, stem part taken the water and transport the water to other parts of the plant body. But food is present in the leaves. Okay, food is present in the leaves. Why? Because leaves having chlorophyll pigment. I already told about it. Okay, leaves having chlorophyll pigment. That's why this chlorophyll pigment trap the sunlight and it can do photosynthesis process. After completion of photosynthesis process, food is present. Food is stored in which regions? Leaves. So, from leaves region, the plant stem, the type of tissue phloem is connected to each and every branch and each and every fruit, flower and roots also. Root also want to grow by taking food. Okay, from this leaf region, the food is transported again to all the parts of the plant body through which tissue? That is phloem. Okay, this is about stem. So, you want to know is there any xylem or phloem present in the stem or not? You should make a activity that is same as like the root activity. Take 2 glass tumblers and take water, and in the second glass beaker you have to take colored water and keep 2 stems. This is a plant. Okay, you have to cut a twig of branch. Okay, this is a branch of stem. You have to cut it and placed in a water beaker. This is water beaker. Is it okay? This is water beaker. Leave it for half day. What will you observe that? Okay, after half day you have to take up both the twigs, that means branch of stem, both the twigs, and cut the branch of stem at this region, and take a small portion of stem and place it on a glass slide. This is a glass slide, and place this piece of stem on a glass slide. This is for this stem, Okay, now these 2 pieces are covered with a cover slip. This is glass slide covered with cover slip. Okay, here also it is covered with cover slip. Then you have to observe under microscope. You should visualize that the piece of stem having a circle in the center, in that center colored ring is observed. Colored ring is observed for this piece. But in this piece there is no colored ring. Why? Because water doesn't have any color, that's why it does not appear in any color. But here we take a colored water, that's why it is appeared as colored ring. This colored ring nothing but xylem. So water transported through the plant body through which tissue? Xylem. So xylem take up the colored water to each and every part of the stem. If you observe the cutted portion of this plant, okay, you should observe that colored ring is xylem. This is nothing but stem. And then one thing, underground stems are onion, okay, then ginger, then okay, turmeric. These are all underground stems. That means the stems, potato also, sugar cane. These are all stems present inside the soil. They can grow inside the soil, not the outer soil, outside to the soil. So these are called as underground stems. Okay, up to here our chapter is completed. Thank you.